Yeah, hello everyone. We'll start our presentation for building dynamic and resilient network infrastructure. So let us understand how is this traditional network approach and how it is application-centric approach for building the resilience. Resilience in the network will go in step by step in upcoming slides. Anyways, hello, good evening once again. It's pleasant to see you all here today. Thank you for your time for attending this webinar. Friends, technology is evolving at the speed of light with many advances. Internet users are gradually increasing and it is expected to connect 70 billion devices to the internet by 2025, next year. We see every other person, whether it is Panipuri wala, Belpuri wala, Pan wala or small shops getting connected digitally. You just go through the panwala, you take one take a for the payment, you just scan the QR code and your payment is done. This is all in the form of digitization or digitalization. Okay, so that's the reason I said everyone today you will find a smallest businessman is on the internet. Okay, and hence today if you see cities are getting smart, campuses are getting digital, technology is constantly upgrading. Business applications are hosted inside your premises or on the cloud. So what does this mean for us? Well, it means a big business opportunities. So it is very important to understand for us today that how is the customer expectation, how the technology works, and what is there inside technology for us. Apart from that, for any customer, if you think on designing a network, then what are the steps we should keep or keep continuous learning for delivering a resilient and high available network. So this is the agenda of today's discussion, and I'm once again welcoming you, and we will take you through the slides one by one. So before going through this presentation, let's understand what is today's customer's expectation. At any point of time, when you will go to the customer and you will start discussing about the network design or network communication strategy or the framework, communication framework, then definitely we will find multiple customers expectations. So customer expectations are basically they wish to have 99.9% uptime, network uptime, right? Any customer said that whenever you will find a good network, enterprise network or the campus network, the customer will say my server, we want my servers, my network infra to be 100%, 99 point, at least 99.99% uptime, so that they should be always available for the serving customers or users. Second thing, they expect high-speed internet or high-speed server access. So you must be visualize that there is a three-tier architecture or two-tier architecture where the servers are connected to the storage and the users who are connected at the access layer through wireless, they are accessing those servers through the network, east side and west side network. So this is what the customer expect, that their network should be high-speed internet network and there should be high-speed server access for the user to server traffic communication. Apart from that, they think network should be scalable and reliable. Apart from this, futuristic support means the network should be open network which works with the Cisco, which works with the it's multi OEM operability network. For example, they don't want to stuck to one single vendor for future communication. Example, if some vendor configure their own proprietary protocol, okay, then another vendor or another OEM cannot operate with those protocols. Okay, so they start thinking of the multi OEM network, that is universal network. So where all OEMs, all vendors can talk to each other seamlessly, should not be a problem. Apart from that, more focus on the network security and network management and the monitoring. So how to achieve these goals, that we can see in upcoming slides. For network, now I'm just trying to correlate customer expectations and the dealing solutions. Like for example, for customer, if customer expect 99.9% uptime, then what D-Link will provide you for the solution. This is what this slide explains. So if customer expect 99.9% uptime, then I as a D-Link, we provide solutions at layer 3 and the layer 2. For layer 2, we provide our RPS, basically work at the layer 2 for the redundancy and the high availability. See, high availability means at the access or at the edge, if one path fails, then there is another path to route the traffic to the servers or to the storage. This is what simple terms of high availability. That means if one of the path fail, then what? Then what? So this what answer to this what is basically another path to reach to the network. Okay. So at the access we talk from the link availability perspective, and at the core we talk about device accessibility perspective. Like for example, if I have if I have single switch in core, then if this core switch fail, then the communicate because your servers are connected to core and your network is also connected to core. So if this core fails, then there is no communication between the access and the servers. So core plays very important part here, and to make this core as a resilient or to make this core as a high available network, we must have one more core in the network, and this core will facilitate the high availability with the help of MLAG and the VRRP features at the layer 3. So for high availability, D-Link provides the solutions both at the layer 2 and the layer 3. Same way, if you talk about the high speed access connectivity, then yes, D-Link supports 10 gig, 25 gig, 40 gig, 100 gig technical solutions or optical connectivity solutions for the core to server, core to storage, or core to core, or core to distribution connectivity. In terms of scalability, device scalability basically talks about how the scalable in your network in the future. So because if today I'm planning for the 6th number of IP CCTV cameras, which is to be powered on with the help of PoE switch, then definitely in the near term, maybe 1 year down, 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years, you need to plan for the scalability. Maybe you can position 30%, you can consider 20 or 30% more nodes, more CCTV cameras, and design the network accordingly. Reliability, if you see reliability is in terms of power level redundancy, or if you talk about the fan level redundancy, is basically if your hardware component redundancy. So for example, if your power supply is damaged or if your power supply is not working, then what? Then you must have another power supply to take over the power supply of the primary power supply. That is, so if primary power supply is not available, or if primary power supply fails, then secondary power supply can take over of the primary supply within no time, within no disruption. That is the reliability in terms of power supply. So same way, if I talk about the fan level redundancy, then if one of the primary fan is not available, then secondary fan or tertiary fan can take over to the primary fan. Same thing, we have also seen about the high availability, where if one of the core fails, then secondary core can take over to the primary functions. So this is what the functionality which we talk about. Then the same thing if you talk about futuristic network, if that means if you're if see, because if today's network is continuously evaluating, right? So today when you talk about the 1 gig connectivity to the access point, but today later stage, maybe by starting from the December or starting from the next month or early of the year 2024, you will find that most of the access points will be of Wi-Fi 6. So Wi-Fi 6 access points basically comes with the 2.5 gig ports, multi-gig ports. So in order to connect 2.5 gig multi-gig ports, what you need is basically 2.5 gig switch. So Dealing do supports 2.5, 1.5 and 5G switches to connect to the Wi-Fi 6 access points. So if we talk about futuristic network, then APT-based debian packages, then ACI application-centric infrastructure which supports REST for the configuration. So that also plays important part. Apart from that, network automation definitely will have one big webinar once again for the network automation. So network automation talks about ONI supports third-party network operating system, open flow operating systems or open flow connectivity with the SDN and the ONOS kind of orchestrator or controller. And the network automation also talks about the core on demand, which is nothing but configuring the switches with the help of software, like for example Ansible or this kind of software. Network security is also important part. Network security can be used in conjunction with the following features like broadcast arm, multicast arm controller, IP MAC port binding, port security, MAC-based access control list, 802.1x, MACsec, DHCP snooping. So these are nothing but few terminologies which are helpful in applying network security for the switches. So if I will tell you there is a three-tier architecture like this. So it's all of us must be knowing that the three-tier architecture and the two-tier architecture. So in three-tier architecture, if we talk about the core distribution and the access, like where core, if core is not, and I will just tell you one thing: the servers are actually connected to the core. So if these two cores, why these two core? Because if one of the core fails, then another core is ready to connect to the servers. That is the agenda of multiple core connectivity. Similarly, distribution layer and the access layer. But the most advanced security you will put at the access layer. So at the access layer, you will need the most security because access layer is the point where your network equipments are actually connected to the network. So you cannot connect equipments like your CCTV cameras, like your laptops, desktops, directly to the distribution connect network. You will always connect laptop, desktop, Wi-Fi, CCTV cameras, or access control, as well as non-PoE, right? So PoE is used to power on over the Ethernet, and non-PoE is basically you to the security. And this is the reason you need more security. You need to apply more security on the access layer, not at the distribution, not at the core layer. If you see this circle above, the circle talks about local and the remote workgroup access at the access layer, policy-based connectivity and the distribution, and core should always involve in the high-speed switching. So what is core's job? Core switches job is only to high-speed the network, high-speed communication. That is the only job of the core layer. And distribution job is basically policy route between the access, different level of access switches, or different or communication between the access and the core. This is the job of the distribution switches. So let's talk about multiple ways you can do using D-Link. You can build the network. So the building the network is basically you can do it at the layer 2 architecture or the layer 3 architecture. So with the layer 2 architecture, you have multiple ways of communication in the network. Where if you two-tier architecture, that means only core and the access is involved. Three-tier architecture means basically core, distribution, and the access is involved. Okay. So how you form 10G, 25G, and the 100G connectivity? Communication connectivity with the layer 2 and the layer 3 network. This is what this slide is showing. So this slide talks about using D-Link switches, like for example DXS 361054S, and the 8 port and the 24 port multi-gig connectivity is a part of the 2-layer 10 gig connectivity. So with the 10G as an uplink, you can always connect core to access. With the 25G as an uplink, you can always connect access and the core. So this can be possible when your access switches will have 25G uplink to the core, right? So core will also have 25G ports and your access will also have 25G ports. Then only this is possible. The same thing if you talk about in this diagram, last diagram, where your access is 40G or 100G uplink and the core is also 25 40G or 100G uplinks. So D-Link switches do supports complete terminologies, or D-Link do have the products for 20G, 25G and the 40G. So I will take you through this product just as a single slide, where we talk about where we talk about 1100 series, 1210 series, 3000 series, 1250 series, 1510 series, 1520 series. There are multiple forms of these switches. So these switches have their own significance. Like for example, if it's a smart network, if it's a small network of SMB network, then you can always use digits 1510, 1520, digits 1210 or digits 1100 series. This series will help you to build a network for the SMB switches. If you talk about digits 2000 and the digits above digits 2000, then digits 3130, 3630, these are basically completely enterprise switches. So if you are going for the enterprise solutions, then you should always go with the 3130 and the 3630 solutions. Then if you are going for the core, just now we have seen about the core and the distribution, right? So core will always talk about DXS series. So DXS is nothing but D-Link 10 gig series. Like D-Link, we have 4 series in 10 gig. Like if you talk about DXS 3400, DXS 3400, DXS 3610 and DXS 3600. So these are basically series which talks about the 10 gig downlink and the 100 gig uplink. So like DXS 3400 SC, it's a switch where we have 24 number of 10 gig downlink and 4 number of 100 gig uplink. Similarly, if you talk about DXS 3610, then there are two variants of the switches where 14 number of 10 gig downlink and 6 number of 100 gig uplink. So downlink you can always have in copper as well as fiber. So these are the basically data center and the core switches, which will be helpful for the connectivity between the core and the core to core and the core to servers. Okay, then if you talk as I said in the beginning, like if you talk about the open source connectivity, like in case of multi OEM vendor interoperability, like if you have D-Link, if you have some other brands in your network, then those vendors, those brands should work seamlessly with each other. So D-Link always go for the universal protocols. Like there is no any kind of proprietary protocol which bind you with the single OEM or single vendor. You should always be open for connectivity in the future with the multi-brand connection, with the multi-brand communication. And this is the way D-Link will always give you open protocols. Apart from that, yes, if you talk about the PoE, then PoE is nothing but the power or Ethernet. D-Link power or Ethernet switches are basically universal power acceptors and the receivers. They provide the power according to the IEEE standards. So there are 4 IEEE standards: 802.3 AF, 802.3 BT, 802.3 AT, and 802.3 BT type 4 and type 3 both. So what happens basically, why standard? Because the endpoints like CCTV cameras, access control, if you talk about IP cameras, so this basically these endpoints should have some PoE class of power, communication power. Like for example, CCTV with the 2 megapixel won't take more than 7 watt or 8 watt, right? So, but at the same time, CCTV camera of 4K with the motorized camera need 30 watt or 35 watt or 60 watt of power. So this power classification is basically done based on the IEEE standards, right? So because motorized camera need more power, more ampere, more throughput to rotate the machine. So that's why its power requirement is huge. But small 2 megapixel camera or 4 megapixel camera or 5 megapixel camera, they don't have much power requirement. So their power requirement lies with the 7 watt to 15 watt, right? So most of the power requirement is basically lies between 802.3 AF and the 80. That means up to 30 watt. Yes, but there are some wireless access points like Wi-Fi 6 access points. Those require up to 25 to 26 watt of power. Okay, so those high speed access points can also be connected to the PoE or PoE plus switches, so that there is no any malfunctioning between PoE and the PoE standards. So that is the reason access point must match the power requirement of the PoE switch. Otherwise, if PoE switch and the access points are working on the different power segment, then they will not communicate. Then the switch will not be able to power on the access point, right? And that is the reason basically things are more connectivity in terms of technology, and that is the reason it is standardized by IEEE. So one of the more good thing with the D-Link switches, basically this switches gives network equipment the power which is required by them. Like for example, as I said, there are multiple classifications of the power. Like if there is a CCTV camera which need only 7 watt of power, then D-Link switch will provide that camera, CCTV camera, only 7 watt of power. It will not provide more power to the camera, because if the switch will provide more power to the camera, then there are chances that there might be malfunctioning of the CCTV camera and your camera may get damaged hardware, right? So power means it is I hope you understand. Power is basically is nothing but it's a DC volt power which will be used to connect to the cameras. So instead of DC volt, you are powering the camera with the help of the Ethernet cable, with the help of the PoE switch. And the PoE switch is that power machine which is actually powering on your camera. So communication between that power consumption between the switch and the end point is quite important. It is very important. Otherwise, will be malfunctioning. There might be power burning issues which can happen, which leads to the hardware replacement or hardware issues. Okay, now instead of PoE, now PoE is not the only thing which is required, which is important in the network. There are some other things which are important which are also important in the network. This is quite technical, but it is important for you to understand. That is the reason actually I have purposely added this slide. The important thing in the network, like as I already told you, like security needs to be implemented at the edge. Okay, and at the edge switch, having a security feature is very important. So for the first security feature is safeguard engine. This basically what it does, like whenever there is a these are before going to this slide, I will just tell you that these are some of the facts which will help you to build the resilient network. So building the resilient network, flexible network, or the high availability redundant network is very important in today's network. And this is due to this reason, I'm just sharing you this slide, which will also help you to gain the knowledge on the resiliency or building the network, high availability network, right? Which may help you in further communication to your customers or to your clients or to your friends and the colleagues. So this slide is quite important where we are talking about the technology. Okay, so safeguard engine, one of the feature where when you connect your laptop or connect your desktop, and if this desktop or laptop NIC card is malfunctioning due to virus in the laptop, okay, then this virus will spread across your network. Okay, and if the packet with virus is hit the switch, okay, then there is a pattern. Like for example, if the normal computer send 10 packets per second, then the computer infected with the virus may send 100 packets per second or 150 packets per second. So this basically occupy switch resources, and that is the reason switch will dealing switch will automatically understand such kind of patterns coming from the desktop or laptop, and they will automatically block that particular port for some time, maybe 15 minutes, or this threshold you can always set, limit you can always set 15 minutes, 10 minutes, or let us say 15 minutes. This switch will automatically block the traffic from the port, and it will at the same time also message to the network management system or to SMS or to a group. It will give you alert that there is a malfunctioning from this port with some error notification. Okay, and then IT administrator basically to go to the switch, they understand they go to the port, they go to the desktop, laptop, they try to uh, recover desktop or laptop from the virus, and they will connect to the network again. Then the things will work fine. And that is this is the reason there is a safeguard engine which will automatically detect such traffic variations and report to the network. Apart from that, at the second stage, it will also block the port, and it will block the user from spreading virus across the network. This is such a beautiful feature which D-Link switch will give you for avoiding virus traffic into the network. If we talk about the second feature, we talk about the 6 kV surge protection. Surge protection is basically, I'm just coming to the slides of industrial outdoor communication in the upcoming slides. Okay, this is basically for the outdoor environment. Like you have some IP cameras or some outdoor access points which are basically installed in the outdoor environment. Okay, like for example, let us say take the campus. So campus is a very big campus, university campus. So in this campus, they might user might require hotspots where access points needs to be installed. They might need IP cameras to be installed outside. So in this scenario, what happens? Basically, you power on the access point, you power on the switches with the help of the Cat6 or Cat6e cable, right? Now, in this case, if there is any surge, lightning happens in that particular area, and the surge comes, and the lightning surge comes directly on the camera or can directly come on the access point, then this surge which comes on the camera, it automatically passes to the switch. And when the surge passes to the switch, what happens? Switch may burn automatically. And not only this switch, but the switches connected to this switch through cascading or through some other turns, those switches will also there are chances that those switches may also get burned. Okay, and that is the reason you must have such protection on the switch, right? So you can see how important this surge protection is. So surge protection is basically when you connect to the as per study, normal lightning will not go more than 2000 or 3000 volt. Okay, but D-Link switches have the capability to protect the switch from surge up to 6000 volt. Okay, up to 6000 volt, D-Link can sustain the lightning, and it will stop hampering hardware from the lightning. Okay. Now, apart from that, there is another security which we call it as a IP-MAC port binding, which we call it as a DHCP server screening. So you must be knowing that in network, what happens? There is only one DHCP server. So if there is one more DHCP server, then what happens? DHCP clients will automatically take the IP address, dynamically take the IP address from this new DHCP server. And if the IP taken from this new DHCP server, then the laptops or desktops who have taken the IP address from this DHCP server, new DHCP server, may not be connected to the network. The hackers do like this to hack the network, okay? And this is very dangerous. And that is the reason there is a feature called DHCP server screening, which will help administrator to accept the packets only from the port where DHCP server is connected. Switch won't take any DHCP package from any other port. See, it is happening sometime in the university. We already addressed these issues in the university. In university, what happens? The students basically they start their own DHCP server. So, and if DHCP server, because there are many software actually visually we get from the in the network from Google, that DHCP server software. So if this run the software in your laptop, then all addresses, all your laptop can work as a DHCP server, and this laptop will throw all addresses to the clients connected to the switch. And if these clients take the IP address from your laptop, then these clients basically connect to your laptop and they will disconnect from the network, main network. And in that way, these clients will not be able to connect to the internet. They will not be able to access the files, and nothing will work. This is such a major issue which can be addressed with the DHCP server screening. So with the DHCP server screening, what happens? It basically take the IP address dynamically DS from the single DHCP from the single port which is connected to the DHCP server, not any other ports. So this is basically important details on the DHCP, because it may stop malfunctioning your network, and many users will complain to you that they are not getting connected to the network. Now, if we talk about the security, yes, then D-Link will provide the security. See, till today, 802.1x is the only security platform. It will give you very robust security. There is no any other security platform other than 802.1x. Okay, because 802.1x with the TLS, it will give you certificate, and certificate is the authenticity for every communication, network communication, right? So digital certificates can be provided with the help of 802.1x. So with the 802.1x authentication, authorization, your network will be much more secure than any other thing, right? So if you talk about authentication, then there are multiple ways of authentication, that like web access control or MAC-based access control. These are the ways, or port-based authentication control. So these are the basic. For example, when you connect your when you connect your laptop to the switch, okay, if you have not implemented 802.1x, then your laptop will automatically get access to the network, or you can directly start working, or you directly start surfing the internet, or there is no any kind of security in your network. Okay, but if you have implemented 802.1x, then what happened? Then as soon as your laptop get connect to the switch, the switch will automatically ask you for username password. You have to enter username password. This username password has to be authenticated from the radius, and once radius authenticate this, yes, this username password is present, then only you will get the access. Otherwise, you will not get access to the network. The same thing about, this is the basic fundamental of 802.1x. Then once you get the authentication, once you are authenticated, then you will be placed in that particular VLAN. Like for example, if you are from technical department, you will be placed in the technical VLAN. If you are from R&D, then you will place in the R&D VLAN. If you are from HR, then you will be placed in the HR VLAN. And once you are in that particular VLAN, then you will get the access, all the policies applied in that particular VLAN. Okay, like if I am the guest, then I will be placed in the guest VLAN, where I will have very nominal, then I will not have much rights in the network. Only the right I will get in the network is to just serve the internet. Otherwise, I will not get anything, any right in the network. So this is such a beautiful framework of security communication in today's network, and D-Link supports this kind of this AAA for the network security. Now, as I said, connecting the outdoor infra as good as indoor, outdoor also cover with the industrial switches. Like for example, I will just give example. Outdoor, basically, if you must have seen the smart city network, or if you must have seen today, every maximum of traffic junction are equipped with the CCTV cameras. Okay, these CCTV cameras, as soon as you break the traffic rule, like for example, if the signal is red and you are going passing your vehicle in that red signal, then you will automatically get your challan, right? of 1,000 rupees or 1,500 rupees you will get when you break the signal. So this kind of then you have to go to the app and you have to pay the money. This kind of things are actually happening slowly. Most of the traffic junctions are now installed with such kind of video analytics, where these cameras will automatically sense that any vehicle is passing through the camera. By breaking the signal, they will take the name plate, they will record your number plate, and they will automatically send challan to your phone. So these are the things basically. And how these things are happening? These things are happening with the help of CCTV cameras and the video analytics. So CCTV cameras now installed at the traffic junction has to connect to the network. So there is an outdoor rack, and this outdoor rack you will find the industrial grade PoE switch. Industrial grade PoE switch has the capability to sustain in the harsh environment up to 75 degrees Celsius, whereas your commercial switches basically work in the 50 degrees Celsius. That is a major difference between the commercial and the industrial grade switch. The switches which you are actually use in the office or use in the server room, those are basically commercial switches. And the switches which are used to power on industrial PoE switches, used to power on the switches in the outdoor environment, those are basically industrial PoE switch. So there is a big difference between the industrial and the commercial switch. So redundancy is one of the important factor where it will work in the multiple ring or the single ring. So industrial switch basically work in the multiple ring for the connectivity. Like here we can see in the left side, there are 3 switches connected in a ring, and these switches are basically outdoor PoE switches, and which are actually power on the IP cameras. So this switch is basically one connecting to the all 10 gig ports, and there is a video analytics and the NVRs which are connected to the core switch. So what happens, this camera is basically continuously recording video streams inside the NVRs or inside the storage. So if one of the primary path fail, then there must be another path to take over if the primary path fail, right? So this will help this cameras to continuously record the videos inside the to the NVR or to the storage. Now, yes, like for example, there is a link convergence of more than 1 second. Okay, then what happens? Your video streaming will stop because this switch doesn't know where to record for that particular period of 1 second if primary path fails, right? And if the communication stop, then it may stop forever until the camera sense that the video analytics server is available. Okay, so that is the problem. That is the problem statement. So what happened if your communication, if your link convergence? See, link convergence is what? Link convergence is basically the thing where primary path failed, then secondary path made available. That is the link convergence. So if your link convergence is less than 100 millisecond, then there is no issues in traffic in sending the traffic from access CCTV to the core switches. Otherwise, if the link convergence is more than 150 milliseconds, then there will be disturbance in the recording. So this is what all about the industrial grade outdoor solutions. So there is an indoor and there is outdoor. As I said, definitely there is a difference between, this slides talks about difference between industrial and the commercial switches. Okay, so characteristics of commercial switches, they are basically for indoor, and the industrial switches is basically for outdoor conditions. So if we talk about commercial switches, there is a fan which nowadays it is a smart fan which automatically turns on when the temperature goes above 40 degrees Celsius. But in industrial switches there is no fan. It is fanless model because this chipset is different than the commercial switches. Industrial chipsets are basically meant to operate up to 70-75 degrees Celsius in the harsh environment. and that is the reason they don't this there is no fan in industrial switches. Apart from that, commercial switches are basically rack mount, but the industrial switches can be to save the space. They can be rack mount or they can be DI and rail mount. So this is the major difference between the industrial and the commercial switches. So these are the model where we talk about industrial like DICF 210 PS, DGSF 3000 series. Now the good thing is that many government sector talks about Make in India product. So dealing DGSF 3000 series, there are DGSF 3000 8P4SI, that is 8-port PoE switch, and the 4P4SI, that is 4-port PoE switch. Both are make in India. Okay, so this is the good thing. So this can be quoted in the government sector. This can be quoted in this government sector, and you will get class 1 certification from dealing for this for the switches. So similarly, if we talk about the wireless, see, because wireless is also an important part of your network, because wireless and these CCTV cameras are actually connected to the PoE network, right? PoE communication. So business wireless will help you to connect your Wi-Fi client or Wi-Fi user seamlessly over the wireless network. Today, 70% of your network are users are basically wireless users. 70 to 75% user in your office are the wireless users. So it is important to understand the wireless also. So that is the reason I have taken this slide. Now wireless basically comes with the two parts. One is on-premise or on-premise wireless, and the another is a cloud wireless. Okay, so let us understand the difference between two. On-premise wireless means your wireless controller. Your wireless controller basically installed on premise. Like, so for example, your company might have a server room or data center, and in this data center, this wireless controller will be placed. And wireless controller job is to control all wireless access point. Control in the sense what? It will control their frequencies. It will make sure that there is no interference. It will make sure that there is no co-channel communication or interference between the co-channel. So this will automatically taken care by the controller. It will also take care of the quality of service. It will also take care of the multiple omni-channel communication, so that every laptop or every client will get smooth access to the network. This is the job of your wireless controller. So the wireless controller can be placed in your data center, okay, or it can be placed on the cloud. If you place it in the data center, then it will be applicable only for your company, right? But what about you have multiple outlets across the geographical area? Like, for example, let us take an example of McDonald's. Now McDonald's have basically hundreds of outlets. Okay, now to make it easy for the monitoring and the management, what happens basically, if I keep if I keep one access point in every McDonald's outlet, then what happens? I need to manage every access point. Okay, but if I will put the controller in the cloud, then all these access points, all 100 outlet access points will automatically register with the cloud, and I can sit at a single place and I can monitor and manage all the access points. Like, for example, if I want to change the SSID of the access points, I can simply log into the cloud. I can select the access point. I just need to push the configuration that change the access ID from McDonald to MACD. So SSID of all the outlets of 100 outlets will automatically change. If I want to change the security setting, likewise I can do that. So it will make easy for the administrator to manage the network. And this is the beauty of Nucleus Cloud solution. Okay, so I will this slides talk about the single campus solutions, where your Nucleus Cloud and your branch, how they are connected. So this DBA access point is basically Nucleus Cloud access point. This DBA access points are automatically connected to the internet. they will connect and they will register themselves with the nucleus cloud. Nucleus cloud is nothing but it's a cloud solution, okay, where these access points are connected, registered with the cloud, and administrator can log into the cloud and they can manage the DBAX1230 and DBAX2830 access point. So in the same way, if I have multiple campus, if I have a single campus, then it will be easy for me to handle multiple campus from the single place, single solution. So nowadays, if you see, there are multiple deployment or installations. What happens are happen on the cloud. Okay, benefits of cloud is basically what is a ease of management and ease of configuration for all network administrators. Otherwise, what then also you can manage. See, without cloud also you can manage campus A, campus B, campus C. But what happened for that? You have to create VPN channel between this campus A firewall to a head office firewall, campus B firewall to head office firewall, campus C firewall to head office firewall. Then configuring VPN or configuring firewall is quite skill set job. So you have to keep security engineers or network engineer at each of the campus. Okay, you might need two, might need three, or might need some skill set as campus A, B, and C. So by using cloud, you can actually avoid many points. This is the beauty of cloud. Then the most important part of any network is the network management. Because if you are not knowing what is actually happening in your network, then it will be very difficult for a network administrator to give the report to the boss or to the higher senior management or the higher management. Like higher management need to know how many access points are there, how many alarms are there, how many thresholds are there. You know, like every nitty-gritty happening in the network, it is need to be monitored. It is need to be you need to understand every trap in the network. Like for example, trap in the sense every alarm in the network, and these alarms are beautifully taken from the network. Because how it happens is basically there are two ways of monitoring the network. The one with the SNMP. SNMP is nothing but the simple network management protocol. So as its name is basically connect with the, you need to configure SNMP in each and every switch. Then what SNMP does, SNMP will this DVU controller, it will automatically pull the information from all the switches with the help of SNMP. Now there are three versions of SNMP version V1, 2, and 3. So people mostly use 1 and 2. Okay, but if you need authentication or more security or the MIB, okay, or on SNMP, then you can always go for the SNMP V3. Then what happens, when you implement or when you configure SNMP on your switches, then network management system continuously get the information from the switches. They pull the information from the switches, they save the information in this database, and it will show from time to time actually what is happening in the network, how many switches, how many wireless, how many CCTV, how many switches are down, how many wireless are down, or how many links are broken. Okay, like if you see the network topology, then the topology will show you the graph, like how if there are 100 switches in a network, how these 100 switches are connected, and if the link between these switches changes from green to red, means your network, that link is down. And this is the reason you need to know every nitty-gritty in your network, and you need to deploy network management software in your network. So network management software will give you more precise and clear information about topology view. It will give you everything in real-time dashboard. It will build multiple donut chart. It will build multiple pie chart, graph chart, just to show you actually what is happening in the network. Okay, it will its good thing is that it will give you web-based design. Web-based design means you can log into the NMS from anywhere from your network, whether it is from the laptop or desktop or from your laptop, from your mobile. You can log into the network and you can see performance monitoring of using pie chart, bar chart, or line chart kind of thing. The good thing is that it will not only monitor single campus, but if you have multiple campus or multiple locations, then also it will monitor and it will give you the information, right? So it will give you information about the inventory also, like number of switches, number of wireless with their serial number, their IP address, their port to port connectivity channel. So this minor to minor detail it will deliver you, and it will give you idea about how robust and how good your network is. It will give the health graph of the network, and it will definitely give you multi-location management over the internet. So virtual rack is nothing but it will give, like for example, if you have in a big network, you have multiple locations and every location will have its own rack. So this rack will basically connect with some switches, some sort of securities or some sort of IP devices. So you can always click on that location, click on the rack, and you can see how as good as you can see the rack view, like how that rack is basically looking at that location. So that is the feature which has been added. And so I'm sure this today's session might have given you a good understanding of how to build your network for resiliency. See, resiliency is nothing but flexibility in your network. Okay, on the high availability in your network. So when your network is high available, that means it is available at any times. For example, if one of the core switch fail, then the second core switch will automatically available for the network connectivity. If your link is failed, then secondary link or another link is available to connect to the network. In this way, it is resilient. Okay, it is resilient and it is redundant. This is what is today's demand of any network. Okay, thank you very much for attending today's session once again. Thank you so much.